at my prior speakers, but this topic was rather interesting to me because I think it's an under-tapped department on how you can help health from information technology to information therapy. So it's donating from one IT to another IT. Okay, so I might be getting a little technical in between. Please stop me if you have any questions. Oh, and I'm Mansi Soni. I'm one of their colleagues from KEM Hospital itself. So before I start off, I'd like to make it clear about what falls in the bracket of information therapy. So if you want to define information therapy, it's any amount, a scrap of information, even the page of information that allows the patient to become empowered and enables him to take charge of his own condition. So it is anything, whether it's a billboard, whether it's an actual an email, a detailed email about his condition, anything that contributes towards the patient gaining more knowledge about his condition. Now, it can be at any point. It can be before the disease occurs. It can be while the disease is happening, and it can be after the disease is over. Now, if it's before it has happened, it's prevention. If it's while it is happening, it helps him cope with it. So before it happens, it could be any lifestyle disease. Right now, a lot of you enter the doctor's clinic afflicted with lifestyle diseases. And in the middle is while it's happening, say a cancer patient, you're helping him cope with it. All right? And once it's over, say tuberculosis, you're going to prevent its recurrence. So it's not a very new concept. The new concept is integrating information technology with information therapy. So just to give you a brief history on how it came about, bibliotherapy, as the name suggests, biblio is book, therapy is anything that heals. So as far back as the 1800s, the Bible was recommended to be read as a power to heal. Now, of course, there's going to be a lot of dispute about that. I myself don't particularly believe in that, but this should be medical texts for patients. So in effect, you want to translate medical text to a patient's understanding. Now, all of this is going to be, visualize it like this, that I recently learned how to drive, and I learned that I'm as responsible as I'm in the driver's seat, who's the doctor, the passenger, who is the patient, and another very important component is where information therapy comes. Information therapy to me will be the seatbelt in health collisions. So it'll help you prevent it. Okay, just for information technology, we'll just briefly, the bold is not very highlighted here, but we're going to deal with the acquisition of information, the processing of it, meaning once you receive the information, you're going to digest it, you're going to analyze it, you're going to store it. I'll get to why that is particularly important as I speak further. And the dissemination, like one of our meetings itself, that is the dispersion of that information using electronic means. So if I spoke to a lot of doctors before I came here, and I tried to find out what their point of view is. Everyone hears about how the doctor has no time, the doctor doesn't give me the enough amounts of information. So if you notice, again, it's not particularly highlighted here, but it's an unbalanced fulcrum. So the deliveries of the doctor and the demands of the patient, there is some amount of imbalance here. So if you look at it even in terms of a number, the doctor-patient ratio is very skewed. So as far I don't think this is a recent one, but this is the most recent one I could gather, that for one doctor, there are 1,700 patients. So there's obviously something wrong here. And even though there are several medical colleges that are enrolling students now, there has to be an intermediary between that 1 and 1,700. And according to me, that is where information therapy will help us. Another bone to pick a bone I have to pick is patients generally enter the doctor's clinic thinking about health. I fall ill, I must go to a doctor. Very rarely are we focusing on a wellness-centric system. It's a health-centric system. It's not that I don't want to fall ill, but since I've fallen ill, I've come to you. So that is another issue I have that information technology can hope to convince me. So this is what happens if the doctor doesn't have enough time to tell you that, okay, this is what your diet should be, this is how long you should exercise, this is how regularly you should exercise. So what happens is that instead of telling him that, he'll give him the ultimatum. What fits your schedule better? Exercising an hour a day or being dead 24 hours a day? So ultimately it comes down to an ultimatum. Now that isn't how you're supposed to live life. You're supposed to live a full, healthy, well life. So according to me, information technology will be the intermediary translator. So when, for example, when my grandmom fell ill recently, of course, she didn't log on to the internet. That's another thing I'll get to. But she wanted to access information from the internet. But the problem is she didn't understand the terms. Now, there's no point of having reams and sites of information if the patient who requires it the most is not able to get it. So the whole point of this thing is to reduce the gap. Like, I'll be coming back to this again, this is very important, is to reduce the gap between the doctor and the patient. I'm not saying that you're going to obviate the need of a doctor, but you're trying to transform health from institutionalized health, that is being hospitalized, going to a doctor, to being more self-reliant. You want to get the patient more responsible for his disease. So why should you need it? We are all aware that the monetary and the psychological burden of healthcare economy is increasing day in and day out. Specifically is lifestyle diseases. So you want to reduce this economic torture to our system by reducing the monetary and psychological burden. Now, another thing that information technology can do, and I'll get to how it can do it, is that you want to make the time you spend in the doctor's room productive, not only for the doctor, but also for the patient. So generally what happens is that people, when I had gone for my grandmother's heart condition, she said, we had visited a couple of doctors. We had gone doctor shopping. So from one doctor to another, I realized that no matter how under qualified or overqualified he is, that was not what made the patient happy. What made the patient happy was the doctor sat down, explained to her what is your condition, what you can expect out of it, and what is the best life you can lead. So we're trying to make it productive for both you and me. Another thing is that I'd like to explain about the types of patients that you get. There are basically 3 types, which Amar will elaborate further. One is the passive one, who submits, ki ye mera disease hai, and this is what I can do, you tell me what I should do and I'll follow it. In the middle is the intermediary patient who says that, okay, I'll read up about it, and if you say, I'll continue. Now the third patient is the active patient. This is what information technology will target. And it will try and convert every passive patient to an active patient. That I will read up about the disease before I come to you. I will try and see what the potential diagnoses are and what I can do and what my family can do. Another bone to pick is that the family role and the patient's role himself is under-tapped. You need to involve them, and it should be group therapy. It should be the doctor advising, it should be the patient's relatives as well. Because as he said, even the group therapy has a large part to play. Okay, now how can we focus on information technology? First of all, I believe that since a computer is not as much of an amenity as it used to be, it's easily accessible. Every clinic and every hospital, even the large hospitals like KM, Tata, the whole gamut of them, they should have all of their information sent into a system. This might be slightly technical, but they have to have confidential health records and an easily accessible storehouse. So it should be as easy as going to a bank. Your bank records should be easily accessible. Another thing is that, for example, if I went to a doctor and I had X diagnosis. Now X diagnosis with my health records, my current medication should be available to the patient, his doctor, and subsequent doctors as well. Because generally there's a communication gap that, okay, pehle ka doctor kya tha, abhi kya hai. So the thing is over here, what this model plans to have is, we'll tag keywords. These keywords will be tagged and they will be referred to medical text, medical glossaries, and these are translated medical texts. Also another thing that it could link to the health groups that you have large availability of, and it could be starting off from there right down to being able to prescribe your medications, to refill your medications online. Often we discontinue our medications saying that, okay, I'll have to go and buy the new set. Might as well have something online where you can click and say, deliver my next set of medications home. Another thing is that you should have easy communication with your doctor. For example, if you're a thyroid patient, whether you have to up the dose, down the dose, maintain the dose, you should be able to send a message, a text, an email to your doctor saying yes, no, rather than having to wait at your doctor's clinic for that small, seemingly small doubt. Yeah, so again here is that we're trying to not only reduce the gap between patient and doctor, what we're also trying to do is obviate any human interconnections. You should be able to take an appointment with your doctor via the internet, via a computer. You should be able to say, okay, I'm going to be coming now, and instead of having to wait there. What happens here is that you spend hours waiting in the clinic. There's a large number of patient hours that is being wasted. And that's another bone to pick that patients have, that I have to wait for so many hours just to meet my doctor for 5 minutes. Another interesting thing that came up during my research is you should make these programs interactive. So the patient becomes responsible for his own disease. Why should you depend entirely on a doctor? It should be a give and take. It should be more self-reliant. So what it does, one example, there are, as I've stated here, there's House Call, NHS, CyberDocs, where medically trained professionals to deal with the core basics. I'm not saying we're going to say that you don't need to go to a doctor if you go to this site. We don't want that. There's still a lot of importance about the personal touch a doctor brings to a patient. So what you should, for example, if you take a disease like COPD, it's a lung disease, okay, which needs to be continually medicated. You need to know what to avoid, what trigger factors to avoid. So what that does, this is a software, you don't even need the internet for this. What you would do is that there is a particular, the doctors here would be aware, but I'll speak on behalf of the others, is that there is a particular device called the PEFR meter. It's a peak expiratory flow rate meter, which detects, it gives you a number. Okay? Now you should be able to feed in that number, and on the basis of that is how your doctor is going to tell you what is the dosage of your medication. So you should get a collaborative effort, engineers, doctors, internet design specialists, to format such softwares that you don't require the need to go to a doctor. I'll feed in the number, I'll get the average, and you tell me, do I need to take this corticosteroid dose yet or not? Of course, this isn't foolproof. We'll have to work on it a lot further. So as this says, is you get a good balance between self-reliance and doctor dependency. Now the thing with sites and help groups and these various other, the problem I would have with information technology is quality control, which is the problem I have right now. The thing is that if we can define a central body to review and sanction these texts by medical bodies, which will prevent the dispersion of fraudulent advice. Another thing is that this should be patient reviewed as well. For example, when you get the mail and you're sent to that glossary, the patient should be able to say, how do I rate this? Gold standard, not so gold standard. So that will take care of your patient as well as your doctor. So what is the end goal after all of this? If you look at it in terms of a business model as well, if your patient is happy, there's a mistake here, I'm really sorry. If your doctor is happy, your patient is going to be happy. If your patient is happy, so is your doctor and his staff along with it. So it's it's not a vicious cycle, it's a very good cycle that we could make use of. If you make one person happy, it's as simple as that. Satisfying one person, you'll be satisfying the entire cycle. Now the potential drawback of this is, now the aim of the whole thing was that you want to reduce the gap between the patient and the doctor. Now, you might think that, alright, so all of this is going to be computer access information. Don't you think this will increase the gap between someone who has a laptop or a computer and someone who doesn't? Why should there be a disparity? The ultimate goal for all of this is health for all. So the thing is that if we can form a good group between engineers and doctors, there's not even every second person, every person has a cell phone right now. Why not bring that model down to something as simple as a cell phone? So we can develop something, these are all nascent ideas, but we can develop something like having a medical BPO. You can call, this is my problem, do I need to go to a doctor? What sort of doctor? Give me his number. Get his number, log on, take an appointment, and the subsequent steps follow. Yeah, so I think that would be a good model to work on. But the problem is that we need to have a collaborative effort. There's generally a common issue that people have is that a doctor has a God complex. So let's eliminate that and work with the patient, engineers, and information technology. Thank you.